Welcome to The Sports Economist, the podcast where we dive deep into sports economics. I'm your host, Shireen Mullah, and today we're diving into the world of sports partnerships. Not just revenues, but as a key player in team culture, fan connection, and long-term strategy. I'm joined by Tyler Potts, Senior Director of Partnership Sales for the LA Rams. Tyler brings a unique perspective on partnerships. We'll talk about what makes a great partnership, how teams measure value beyond the scoreboard. Let's start with the basics, how partnerships help shape this team behind the scenes, not just what fans see on the field. How do partnerships shape a team's identity, both on and off the field?
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. I think it's a great question. I think when we look at the world of partnerships, there's a lot of different ways that term is used, right? And so for me and for our team, it's when you're going to a game and you're drinking your favorite soda, Pepsi, by the way, of the official soda of the Rams, or your beer, right? Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light, Corona, those are our beer partners. Or you're seeing that the Toyota truck is the official truck of the LA Rams, or Porsche official luxury auto car, whatever that may be, and you're experiencing the brand, you're experiencing game day, you see the Princess Cruises treasure hunt on the video board. The partnerships that that we work on, the goal is to make them very immersive, to make them part of the fan experience, to have our fans want to be associated with our partners, right? So that you go back home and I'm going to go buy a new car. Well, I got to go buy the truck of my favorite team. I got to go buy a Toyota. Oh, I want to drink a beer. I'm going to go grab a Bud Light, or I'm going to go grab a Corona, because those are the beers of the Rams, right? When I'm hosting a watch party, and so we want our fans and we want the brands to resonate with our fans. And so really when we look at partnerships, we look at it under three lenses. One, in the sense of, yes, there's a financial component, right? Like, we're talking to the brands, they make a financial commitment, a financial investment in the Rams and in being associated with the Rams, so that they can reach our fans, reach our audience, and can get their products and brands in front of our fans. There's also, we want to do partnerships that are endemic to our franchise, to our fan base, right? So, in a prior role, I worked at the Dallas Cowboys. We had a boot partner. Lucchese Boots was our official partner. We're not going to have a boot partner in Los Angeles, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. It's not endemic to our market. It wouldn't resonate with our fans. So we want to make sure we're doing partnerships that resonate with our fans, so that it drives that fan engagement. And then the third piece, right? Like, do we do a partnership that makes sense from an organization standpoint? Does the brand align with the innovation or the values or the types of brands that we want to be associated with from a Rams perspective? And really, under those three pieces is where we look for the sweet spot of all of our partnerships. They're not always weighted equal. We don't always get all three, but our goal is to create partnerships that really have all three of those buckets.
So you talked about what you choose, but what goes on behind the scenes? Yeah. And is there more beyond just an investment?
Yeah, I think for all of these, it's relationships, right? So yes, for our partners, there's a financial investment that they make in the organization, that they make in the marketing platforms, right? They're essentially buying access, right? They're buying access to our fan base. They're buying access to our IP. They're buying access to the events and programs and things that we host and have, and their brands can then be associated with them. They can use our IP. That is part of it, 100%. But it's deeper than that. It's the relationships, and I think one of our favorite things to do is when we can bring partners together, and create collaborations where we can have, PacSun meet the Princess Cruises team, meet the Anheuser-Busch team, and they can then work on, potentially business relationships together as well. And so where we can see collaborative effort amongst our partners too. So they're investing in the marketing pieces as well, but they're investing in the relationship and the association with our organization and the association with our, with our leadership and the ownership that we have of the team. That association is really, really the kind of driving factors in order to build that relationship, so that, it's authenticating things that they're doing in the community. It's authenticating things that they're doing with their own campaigns, but it's also creating opportunities for them from a B2B perspective as well.
So you're kind of looking at it in long term, and what we want to see how the partnership can do in the long run. Where are they going to be in the future with you as a partner?
Yeah, I think there's definitely like a long view on some of these things, right? Like we may in looking at a partnership, again, our goal is to make all of our partnerships long term. Like let's say on average, most of our partnerships are 3 to 5 years, right? And across pro sports teams, our goal is to always do long term investments or to do long-term partnerships so that, one, that gives the brand time to build that equity, to grow, to create programs with us. But also it allows us to kind of build that relationship together. And I think, if you look at some of our partnerships that we have since coming back here to Los Angeles, I've mentioned them a few times now, but like a Corona, like a Toyota, like a Hyundai that have been with us throughout the entire time. Like we're now going into our 10th season with our relationship with Hyundai. Like the partnership looks very different today than it does 10 years ago. But we've grown it. We've worked together with them. We've created new platforms, created new ownership pieces for them. So it's definitely like a long-term investment from a relationship perspective. And when you look at partnerships on a more human level, the people that are the decision makers, the CMOs of these brands, they then move around. And so the goal of us, our team, when we're going through kind of the partnership negotiations or the back and forth on like, hey, where do we need to be? I think the goal is to try and find a relationship that is really a truly win-win. If we get to a point where, hey, we've done a great deal for the Rams, we took all their money, but we aren't really going to deliver them that much, and at the end of that year, they're going to say, hey, I didn't get anything. And that's going to sour that relationship. And ultimately, it's harder to find a replacement for a partner than continue a relationship with a partner. So our goal is to create mutually beneficial relationships that at the end of the partnership, a partner says, wow, man, I really invested in the Rams. I got a great return on that investment. And now I want to invest more, right? I spent X. Now I want to spend X more because I know my return will only get greater.
It looks like it's like a two-way street, a two-way kind of thing where it's like very mutual. So recently I saw the draft video, and it was with the fire department and response to the LA fires. But what kind of partnership has kind of stepped up and really made a difference in culturally or in just the social impact?
Yeah, you mentioned that one. So, historically we've done these draft houses, right? And so for the last 3 years, really born out of COVID, we did the draft during COVID. Les Snead, our general manager, during COVID, he drafted from his house and said, okay, that was easy. That wasn't a big deal. And so coming out of that, we worked with first Rocket Mortgage and to do these houses. We rented a house in Malibu, rented a house in the Hollywood Hills. We branded it and we did our draft from this house, right? Most NFL teams, they're doing their draft from a conference room. You see their players, you see their coaches and scouts, they're in suits and ties. It's very serious. That doesn't fit our culture. Like that doesn't fit the LA Rams. Like we're Los Angeles. We have a little more fun. We're a little bit looser. We have like a more of a lifestyle brand. And so like we have coaches jumping in the pool after we draft their player, right? And so the draft house kind of was the embodiment of that, right? And we saw that come to life in 2 instances with Rocket Mortgage. Then we did it with SoFi. We did it with Zillow. Coming into this draft season, obviously the devastating fires that happened in Los Angeles in January, we were very much affected by it. We had players, families affected by it, staff members affected by it, and we had a game moved. We had to go to play a game in Arizona, play a playoff game in neutral territory in Arizona against the Minnesota Vikings. It's a great win for us, but it was a very, very trying time for everyone in the city of Los Angeles and our organization and, obviously the fire department. And we thought, hey, it doesn't probably really make sense to rent a house and show off an opulent mansion in Los Angeles at this time. So what can we do to honor the first responders? And so we went to our partner Zillow and said, hey, we kind of need you to trust us here. Like, it's not going to be the big splashy draft house that's like name and lights that you've seen in the past. It's really going to be focused on first responders. We're going to draft live from the LAFD's aerial headquarters in Van Nuys from a hangar. And we really want it to be all about giving back to the first responders. And coming out of that, we've actually seen as much, if not more, impressions and value driven back to Zillow, the partner, because it's something that felt endemic, it felt natural, it felt cause-driven versus something that, this is just a brand slapping their logo on something to get their name out there. No, this is a brand in the Rams, in Zillow, wanting to do good, wanting to amplify the first responders, And it ended up performing really well for us. Obviously, it was great. We hosted, almost 300 first responders on Friday of draft. Coach McVay gave them a speech that I think they all wanted to run through a wall after. It was really awesome, and you got coverage on the NFL draft, coverage on our media partners, which is really incredible. And I think what we found is that's the secret sauce. When you can find something that has a community lane, it has a purpose, it tells a brand story in an authentic way, and it ties authentically to the market. That's really where you're going to find that the real gold in partnerships. The one other one, just on more of the community impact piece. So we have a partnership with PacSun as well, and part of our partnership is $1 million clothing donation that they make to us, and so we take those clothes and we use them to give out to schools in need or underserved communities here in Los Angeles. So one of the number one reason, or one of the top reasons why kids don't come to school is because they don't have clean clothes. They don't want to wear the same clothes over and over again. And so through this partnership with PacSun, we've been able to kind of create free shopping days at these schools. Kids can go pick up clothes. We've also created a program called Loads of Love where we brought washer and dryers into schools so parents can actually come to school and do the laundry so that kids have clean clothes thanks to PacSun, thanks to P&G and Tide, and thanks to kind of the Rams partnership there. So that's one that it isn't a big, massive name and lights partnership, but it's definitely made an impact here in the LA community.
So you led us the transition of how partnerships build connection, fans having this loyalty or belonging. But not only did you talk about the fans, you also talked about a community. I wanted to know what makes a partnership feel real. And it's just beyond the logo.
Yeah. And I think that is the biggest piece is making sure it is beyond the logo and it's that authenticity, right? So I look at our partnership with Zillow over the last 2 years, and the rally cry for the Rams, if you will, is whose house? Rams house, right? So Rams house, SoFi Stadium is our home. That home thematic ties in well with a brand like Zillow, who's helping families find their home, whether it's find your dream home, whether it's find your next home, whether it's find your first home. Zillow is a great partner to do that. And so there's an authentic connection. You can see naturally that, okay, I see why Zillow would be a part of that, or I see why that makes sense because of those natural synergies. I think those are the ones that, round peg, round hole, that really make the difference. I think about the goal of any of these partnerships is to create that long-term fandom, right? So, you look at, a great partnership the Dallas Cowboys have is they have had a decade-long relationship with Molson Coors, Miller Lite. It's the official beer of the Dallas Cowboys. It's the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys, and they are very proud to say that. The idea that a Cowboys fan, when they're hosting a party, they're going to buy the beer with the Cowboys logo on it. We want to bring that same, brand love and fervor to our partners at, Corona or Bud Light, or our partners at Toyota, or our partners at Hyundai, right? That's really our goal. How do we create a relationship where when our fan sees 1800 tequila, they know, oh, that's the Rams official tequila. I'm going to go buy that because I'm a Rams fan. I want to support my team's partners.
In economics, they have this willingness to pay. And I feel like when you have this team, and if you're an LA Rams team fan, you're going to have a higher willingness to pay for even just one of the partnerships, brands.
Yeah.
And I like how you guys did the Rams house and have Zillow, because then you could – all of the other partnerships is kind of like the things that are going to be found in your house. Even if it's a Toyota, you're going to have a Toyota that's a part of your house. Yeah. And it's just building that connection with the fans.
100%. Yeah, and we did that. We had Toyotas in the garage. We had Porsches out on the sidewalk. We had Anheuser-Busch product, and we had Constellation products in the fridge. We had Frito-Lay chips and Pepsis everywhere. We had Sleep Number, who's our official bed partner. We had the bedrooms are all decked out with Sleep Number beds in draft houses in the past. So we got to bring really that home thematic to life, which was really exciting. And I think that willingness to pay is what we, in a lot of our conversations with partners, is we show them hey, that when you attach your name to our name, or when you attach our name to your name, similar to the logo on your shirt here, right? The brand perception can increase, and someone's willingness to pay extra for, hey, a product that has the Rams logo on it, or any NFL team logo on it, right? We've seen that with the data on it.
So what tells you that a partnership has clicked with the audience?
I think that it is that endemic piece you talk about. Like when I see fans posting their photos on social and digital of their party at home and they have those consumer products that are partners, or when you see a Toyota truck riding around and it's got a Rams logo on the back, right? Like those things help us, click. I also think when the brand continues to come back and reinvest in us, the economics of that, right? Like they continue to double down and spend more and reinvest in the partnership and reinvest in the relationship. That is really what helps us, sure shows us that it's working, right? The proof's in the pudding there.
So now we'll look at teams and brands working together in creative ways and what it takes to try something new.
Yeah.
What does it take to try something new in a partnership?
Yeah. I think on the team side, it takes like leadership that's not afraid to fail. And we're super lucky at the Rams, our leadership across the board, starts with Mr. Kroenke, our owner, but Kevin Demoff, our team president, Jen Prince, our chief commercial officer, and our brand team, and Kat Frederick on the marketing side, and Molly Higgins on the community side, like all of them were, let's try it, right? Like we won't know if it works if it doesn't work. Like again, like trying something like the Draft House, or trying something like moving our training camp to a partner location like we did moving it to LMU, or even some things that you'll see coming up this summer that we're going to do that we'll announce here in the next couple weeks of some special stuff that we're doing that no other team has done before. And I think those are the things that really allow us to be innovative, is like being okay, being like, well, that didn't work, let's try something else different. And so we've hit on a few of them, which helps, but the biggest piece of that is then also having our partners that are willing to lean in on that and say, hey, we trust like Zillow on this piece this year with the LA Fire Department. Like they said, hey, what worked for you you guys have worked great with us in the past. How do we continue doing that? Well, hey, we have an idea. We need you to trust us. Like that trust and that relationship, you have to have that, because we eat, sleep, and breathe the Rams brand every day. They eat, sleep, and breathe their brand every day. How we can use that expertise to come together. Like we may be like, hey, I actually think we need to take a risk here and try something new and different. And if you haven't built that trust and relationship with a partner, if you haven't shown them that, hey, when we take risks, it pays off, you're not going to be able to do those things.
We established the partnership last year.
Just finished our second season together as partners. Yeah, with LMU.
Yeah. So you're really active in being a part of the Loyola Marymount University community, but that's a different kind of partnership. So it's more of you work academically. How has that been?
Yeah. So there's really like three components of our partnership between the Rams and LMU. There is some marketing pieces of us using the platform of the Rams and the things that we have at SoFi Stadium and the visibility of our brand to promote LMU with TV visible signage and opportunities to showcase the brand on an NFL stage, right? To show that, hey, LMU is a preeminent university that belongs on that stage with kind of the global brands that we work with. There's also a component with some opportunities to help engage with alumni, right? So, tickets, hospitality, things that allow alumni to come back and touch and feel the relationship. But to your point, my favorite part of the relationship is really the students that we get to touch. And so, it's the class projects we get to work on. That you've had a couple classes get to be a part of our immersion projects. It's the guest speakers that our executives have come and spoken classes. It's the internships. We did a mentorship program this year where we had I think almost 40, maybe more students from LMU got to come shadow a Rams employee for a game day. Got to really have a great experience. Doing that, which was great. That was an incredible experience, both for the students, both for the staff, for them to get to see what goes on behind the scenes on an NFL game day. And then we have internships where we have 3 or 4 now full-time staff that have started in the LMU internship program that have now been hired on full-time at the Rams and are now Rams employees, and we hope that continues to grow as we continue our partnership.
Yeah, so I want to touch on the experience that I've had with your whole team and SoFi. So we were able to take our whole entire class to the SoFi Stadium. We got a tour, but not only a tour, we had had someone speak about how the stadium was built, what it took. The students also got to present in the locker room, which was a very nice experience.
Yeah, super cool.
And then we also got to go to the headquarters, the LA Rams headquarters. And we had a lot of panelists, and you were one of them.
Yeah.
But we got to talk to everyone from different departments and get insights. And there were several students there. There was a whole class, 30 students. They got to learn more about what each department was doing at the LA Rams. So I found that very helpful. Even if they were like interested in an internship or a job in sports, you guys provided that guidance, and I think it's a great partnership.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was really great, and I think it outlined hopefully for the students or that the parallels with sports, with economics, with what we do in the business world. At the end of the day, a professional sports team it is a business, right? It may look a little different, it may run a little different, but like we operate very similarly. We have around 300 employees. We have a finance department, we have a legal department, we have strategy departments, we have sales, we have community relations, like we have HR, like we run just like a normal business, and just like a normal business looks at trends or, hey, how do we price our tickets correctly? What does the economic model look like for pricing concession stands, pricing tickets, like all of those things? We're doing those things. We have to do those things. We do the same thing on the partnership side, or even as we look at, okay, hey, as we build we just announced we're building a new headquarters in Woodland Hills. As we look at that, and we go try and find partners for that and a naming rights partner for that, all of those things, the revenue and the dollars that we have in our partnerships, we will use that to build those venues, right? And we take those contracts, we use them, we go to the bank. That's how we work on our financing, all of those different things. And so there are a lot of like kind of general business principles that I think people don't realize a pro sports team has. It's way more than just, hey, we play some football games. It's a full 365 business built on the back of, what's going on the field.
That leads me to trade-offs. In economics, we do this every single day. We have a trade-off in our time, but there's a lot of brands that want to work with you as partners. How do you guys choose that? And what's like the trade-off and your time, your energy, money? Yeah.
So it's a great question. I think like I wish it was as easy as saying, well, we just get to everybody comes to us and we just pick the ones we want to work with. Our team spends a ton of time out cultivating, prospecting, and trying to go find those brands that want to work with us. I think we do have a trade-off of like, not everyone can afford an NFL team partnership, or not all brands are ready to work with us. And so, there may be some brands that say, hey, I only have X amount of marketing dollars to spend with you guys. That we may say, hey, like that doesn't make sense for us right now, because of the amount of effort or work, or like because of the amount of revenue, like we just might decide to go a different direction. But ultimately, like that's sometimes saying no to deals, or looking at a partnership and saying, hey, this is a really great partnership, might be the great brand fit, but some of the things that we'd have to do, or some of the pieces we'd have to give to do this, the value isn't there for us. And so we may decide that doesn't make sense. And we deal with that. Like we have some thresholds that we implement around how we operate our business of like, hey, we have to have partners at a certain level and all of those different things, so that we don't get in a situation where we're kind of the trade-offs end up in the negative for us.
So when's a partnership that you took a leap of faith and it paid off?
Yeah. I think going back to our, I know we've talked about Draft House a little bit here already, but it's fresh given it was just last week. But the original partnership that we did with Rocket Mortgage going back, 4 years ago, no one had ever done it before. No one had ever sponsored their draft at a house. No one had ever done their draft anywhere other than their facility outside of COVID. And some teams did it, some teams did it on a yacht. Some teams did it in their home. Some teams did it at their facility. But we were able to go to them and they said, hey, can you bring us an idea that's what they like to call first, best, and only. And so something that no one else has done before, someone that's like best of class, and something only we could pull off at the time. And, we were able to take them this idea of renting a house and blowing it out and making it Rams branded and Rocket Mortgage branding. And I think they lent in with us and said, okay, let's go do it. Coming out of that, it was front page news. It was on SportsCenter. It was on ESPN. It got tweets going back and forth between teams talking about like, well, who has better houses and all those different things, like created buzz. And that's really something that just, absolutely has paid off for us in spades.
We talked a little bit about these partnerships beyond just the fans or the teams, but you talked about community, and you talked about the LA Fires, and you also talked about your PacSun partnership. But what other partnerships do you have that are towards a cause or an impact in the community?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, right? A lot of our partnerships have community elements to them. Our community team, Molly Higgins and her team, do an incredible job in the LA community. And so a lot of our deals have those components. I think about what Cedars-Sinai does with us around the Crucial Catch game and early detection for cancer awareness, and the hospital visits we do with our players as part of that partnership. Our partnerships with LA Care around mental health and wellness, all of those different things that we do going out in the community. Our partnership with Edward Life Sciences, where we're doing heart screenings in underserved communities. So heart disease is a big issue in kind of more underserved communities, Black and brown communities. They're not going to the doctor. They're not getting screened for heart failure or heart disease. And so we've taken some former players, some legends, some Rams players, and we've gone into these communities and said, hey, the Rams player is going to get screened today. You can get screened alongside a legend or alongside a Rams player, thanks to the support of Edward Life Sciences. And we've gone in and there have been individuals that we've then said, hey, you need to go to the hospital. Like you need to get this checked out further, and had life-saving procedures because of those types of partnerships in the community. I think about some of the things we do with Little Caesars and their Love Kitchen, which is a big 18-wheeler semi-truck that they bring into, really underserved and at-need communities. And it's basically a Little Caesars truck on wheels, and it rolls in and can serve 500 people an hour or a couple hundred people an hour, and serving food to those in need in the underserved communities. So we've done some great events with them as well. There's I could sit here for a couple hours and probably give you all the examples of the community partnerships. It's such a big piece of what we do. It's such a big piece of what the Rams do as a brand, but then it becomes even a bigger piece of a lot of our partnerships. And I think that's the great piece about one of the things I love about partnerships is we get to touch almost every department or all the different teams within the organization. Yes, we work with our football team and we work with things around football operations, and players, but then we also work with game presentation. We work with our tickets team. We work with fan engagement. We work with community. We work with our strategy team. Like we work with our media and social digital, our studios team. Like it's what I love about partnerships is we get to sit kind of in the middle and work with every single department. I don't know that there are many other departments in sports, outside of maybe like finance and HR that get to touch every single department within the organization.
What's your partnerships with youth participation?
Yeah, I think we have a few of them, and I think for us, the growth of our fan base will come from the kids that are between 7 and 12 today, right? Like that kind of age group. They're the future of Rams fandom here in Los Angeles, and so we have our Rams Football Academy, which is very much focused on youth participation. We do hundreds of camps and different clinics throughout Los Angeles. We do Play 60 events at tons of different schools throughout LA. But I think one thing we're specifically proud of is our kind of helping pioneer girls flag. So California was one of the first states, if not the first, to sanction girls flag as a high school sport. The Rams played a big piece in that. And then we've brought on partners like Nike, Gatorade, and Bridgestone to help support. So originally in our first girls flag jamboree, I think we expected to have about 500 girl participants. We had over 900. We've since grown that to over 1,200 participants in the last girls flag jamboree. We expected to have about 40 teams reach out to us for help and support. We ended up with almost 90 teams reach out for help and support. And so thanks to our partners at Nike, Gatorade, and Bridgestone, we've been able to give girls flag kits to all the schools. And we have seen tons of excitement around girls flag specifically, youth sports, really focused on youth football, boys and girls flag, 7-on. But I think we're really excited about the future of our fandom relative to girls flag. And then that obviously leads right into, flag football becoming an Olympic sport in 2028, which will be hosted right here in LA.
So do you think that there has been growth since the announcement of flag football in the Olympics?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think there's absolutely has been growth in flag football. But I also think just like in general, I think getting girls involved in football and from a youth perspective, like, is really exciting. I think, the number of times I've been able to host a guest at a game or a partner at a game, and they brought their daughter, and their daughter is talking about the X's and O's, and they're like, yeah, this is the same play I run at my flag football game, or oh, we're playing in the flag football bowl at SoFi Stadium later this weekend. Like, that's really cool. It's just cool to see the game growing and growing with a new fandom, and they've always been there, but now having the ability to actually go out and play and express it is really cool and really fun to see.
So starting a sport in high school is not easy. And you just mentioned that you've, given them starter kits. How do you think that really helps the school, starting off?
Yeah, I think on our community team, and I mentioned Molly and then, Jonathan Franklin, who really is pioneering our girls flag efforts, and Noelle Grigsby as well on our team. Like, they're extensions of our brand to help drive the fandom, but really we want more participation across the board in football, right? Whether that's flag, whether that's tackle, the Watts Rams we do with the LAPD is another great youth sports program. But I think for us, right, we want the participation in sports, you can look at lots of studies that say, hey, participating in sports, being a part of a team, like that's really great for young adults and as they grow up as children, and that sense of community it creates. And so if we can help be a part of creating that, to then hopefully lead to I had a Rams jersey as I was a kid, or I played flag football inside SoFi Stadium. That's really a big piece of what we look at, and on top of all of the incredible reasons why it's valuable, just another one.
You talked about the Olympics.
Yeah.
What are the world events that are happening in Los Angeles? The World Cup, Olympics.
Yeah, you mentioned some of them. So we're super excited that SoFi Stadium will get to play host to really three of the largest global events there are in the 2026 World Cup, the 2027 Super Bowl, and the 2028 Olympics. We'll be the first stadium ever to host all three of those events. And we're going to do it back years. In addition, Intuit Dome across the street from us will be hosting NBA All-Star Game. We have, a half marathon coming to SoFi Stadium here with our partners at Nike. So really, as you look at the next 5 years, there is not a major global sports event that doesn't come to Los Angeles. And so we're really excited about that. While the Olympics and FIFA and Super Bowl are, not our events, they're owned by FIFA and NFL and the Olympic Committee, respectively. It's valuable to us because it gets the name of our venue out. It just increases the visibility of our partners and saying that they're getting to be associated with the venue that hosts all these events. And plus the incredible economic impact it has for us in the stadium, for our retail district, for the hotel we're building, for the city of Inglewood, and all around Los Angeles. Getting to host these three major global events in back-to-back years is really going to be an incredible feat, and we're super fortunate and lucky to have that in our venue.
Yeah, there's a lot of studies on economic impact of stadiums, but mega events as well. Mm-hmm. And I find that unique because we have one in 2026, the World Cup.
Yep.
Then we have the Olympics.
Yeah, and a Super Bowl in between there.
And then the Super Bowl in between it. So that is going to be a very unique study to do. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a lot of, I'm sure you probably could have an entire class on the economic impact of those 3 years. Yeah, exactly. So you have a lot of experience in partnerships and, you worked with different teams as well. Mm-hmm. But how have you seen the changes in partnerships over time? Yeah. So I'm going into now my 13th NFL season, my 6th with the Rams. I spent 2 years in the middle with Legends working on the Raiders Stadium project in Las Vegas, and then was at the Dallas Cowboys for 5 before that. When you look at what partnerships looked like 13 years ago, they weren't as content driven, right? There were partners that didn't have social media in their partnerships. It was, well, my name in lights. I want a bright, shiny sign. I want traditional media, they weren't. I think so. The two biggest pieces is really like the addition of digital and social, and really that connection to, hey, we want to be on multiple devices reaching fans. And then the team's investments. Teams are investing in content, and so being able to have a partner help invest in that content with us as well. That's a really big shift I think they've seen of if you look over the last decade, there are very few partnerships that we do now that don't have some sort of social, digital, or content component to it.
The other thing is, I think, again, it was the big, shiny, bright lights, which are hard to measure from an ROI standpoint. And so now I think the data and analytics around partnerships has really grown and is starting to catch up to kind of other traditional marketing assets. Before it was, well, it's a passion buy, it's fandom. We want to get our name in lights. We want to see the bright, shiny objects. And now it's, well, hey, show me how there's ROI for this. Show me how many widgets I'm going to sell, or show me the reach, or show me my brand lift, or what demand can I expect from entering this partnership. Those are all things that questions we get now and things we have to work through with partners now that we weren't getting a decade ago.
I've also noticed the engagement of trying to get fans to be like. I've noticed the fan engagement and how the partnerships have changed over time. Mm-hmm. So, for example, the infinity screen. Yeah. I find that more interesting when you see something. There's like a halftime. Or the way that they engage. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're super fortunate to have the incredible venue of SoFi, and to use that infinity screen and the 5 levels of LED to really bring our partnerships to life and make it an immersive game day experience.
Yeah. So, what does teamwork mean to you? It can be on the field, as if you play sports, but also outside the field. Yeah,
I think a lot of the people we work with are sports fans, former athletes, and so I think there's a sense of team in any sports organization you work with, of like that collaboration. I think we, as I mentioned earlier, we at partnerships sit in the middle of a lot of different departments, and so means we have to go ask a lot of departments for help, right? We have to go ask our studios team, hey, we need your help on this. We have to go ask our community team, we need your help on this. We have to go ask our tickets and hospitality team, hey, we need your help on this. And you can't do that if all the time all we're doing is asking. We have to create those partnerships that are mutually beneficial. We have to work well as a team, because what our partnership department's objectives are may not always align with another department's objective. And so I think one is figuring out what are the organization's objectives. For us, it's number 1, win football games. Number 2, it's grow fandom. And number 3, it's trying to figure out how we grow the business as part of that as well. And so everything we do needs to hit one or multiple of those objectives. And so we're all chasing towards the same goal, win a Super Bowl every year, drive an effective business, and grow our fan base. Then it's how do we collaborate together to, hey, I need help with this, or I need you guys to lean in here. Here's how I'm going to help you hit your goal as part of that. And I think the collaboration and teamwork we have to have on the partnership side is paramount, because if we didn't have those other departments, we wouldn't be able to deliver for our partners.
What I've noticed is from your whole organization is I've talked to each person in a different department. Yeah. I almost see that reflection on the fields, right? Every single person has their position, but they're all working as a team. And working for the LA Rams organization, I wonder how you guys think about it in a different way. You think about it on the field and then off the field. So
I think there's definitely the sports connection there of the next man up mentality and teamwork, and we collectively all have to do our jobs really well in order for us to be successful.
So what's your advice about entering the partnership, direction?
Yeah. I think for young professionals looking to get into the world of sports and partnerships, I think what I found in talking to and interviewing and being a part of interviews and interviewing myself for a number of jobs over the years is I'm a sports fan. I like the team. I'm a fan of this team. We look for someone who loves the business of sports, right? So you may not actually be a fan of that team, but you love the business of sport and you want to help that team with their business side. So I think it's making sure that you are looking at the role for the right reasons of hey, I don't want this job because I like going to sports games and I want to be around players and I want to be a fan. It's, hey, I actually love the work. I love the business of sport. And so we look for folks that are saying that's what they love, right? And for me, that's what I love, the business of partnerships. I love getting able to, take a brand and to connect it with the Rams brand and help grow that brand and solve their business challenges. I think, what I see in the young professionals that are successful in this industry or in getting into partnerships, it's internships, right? It's networking. Everybody loves helping students. How can you, when you're a student, take advantage of those opportunities? If you're an LMU student, take advantage of the opportunities we have at the Rams. But I think really it's networking and it's internships. And it's once you have those internships, it going above and beyond, right? Like it's very rare that the interns that we see get hired on are the ones that are like, well, they had this great idea and like made us all this money. Like, no, it's the ones that show up every day, go the extra mile, and before they leave say, hey, what else can I do to help? Or, hey, what else can I work on? Is there any other projects that I can help with or be a part of? Like, those are the ones that go the extra mile and really I see be successful.
Thank you so much, Tyler Potts. I appreciate having you here.
Of course.
And it's always a great partnership working with LA Rams.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Until next time, teammates, I'm Shireen Mullah, and this is The Sports Economist. If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. And don't forget to follow us on social media for more insights into the fascinating world of sports economics. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.